Hey everybody, welcome. It is Monday, it is 7 p.m. We are here in Newport Richey at We Beam TV for our 8th episode of 62 Who Knew. Last week for the, I think, third or fourth time in a row, we had more than 5,000 viewers. Our record so far is 6,200. I'm hoping our speaker tonight breaks that record. For those of you joining us for the first time, 62 Who Knew is a show that is about as we approach the age of 62. You don't have to be 62 to watch this show. It really is from the mid-50s, maybe even to the mid-60s, upper 60s. I've gotten some emails and texts and very nice letters and things from people as high as in their upper 80s. But this is, as we get to 62, that's when we start thinking about our retirement. We might not be quite ready at 62, but 62 is the age we take Social Security. Or should we defer it to a later age? Did I save enough? Why didn't I save enough? How long will I be working into my, what I call, retirement years? The truth of the matter, this generation, our generation, I just turned 60 a couple of months ago, our generation is facing an obstacle which is also a mixed blessing that no other generation in the history of America has ever faced, and that is extremely longer lifespans. Medical advancements, scientific technologies, like it or not, we're going to be living to be close to 90, my generation. And as we learned a couple of weeks ago from our incredible guest from the Weizmann Institute in Israel, the next generation, they're going to be in the hundreds. So we might have to change the name of the show from 62 Who Knew to, I don't know, 85 and you're still alive. But for the time being, it's 62 Who Knew. Our topics are long-term care insurance, in-home care, Social Security, life insurance, annuities. And tonight, something that's near and dear to my heart, our topic is going to be reverse mortgages. Now, for some of you that are watching, you know that that is my passion, that besides being the host of the 62 Who Knew television show, I have also developed a national niche for myself over the last decade in the reverse mortgage world. I have traveled the country teaching certified financial planners, in fact, a little over 12,000 of them, a class called Reverse Mortgages, Myth vs. Reality, where we delve very deeply into the proper ethical and moral uses of home equity during retirement. I have also taught thousands of real estate agents across the country about the HECM for purchase, which is more commonly referred to as the purchase reverse mortgage. It still staggers me that so many real estate agents, so many of the almost 2 million real estate agents in this country are not even aware that there is a purchase reverse mortgage. That's not the traditional. It's a hybrid of the traditional reverse mortgage. The math is the same, the qualifications are the same, but the traditional reverse mortgage, the one that you see on TV with famous actors, I don't know if I'm allowed to plug other actors and other companies, but I'm going to. Tom Selleck does just a staggering commercial. He's done many of them. He's an incredible national spokesman for reverse mortgages. And they talk about the traditional reverse mortgage, when you're short on cash, when you want to retire debt. And in fact, that's about 95% of the reverse mortgage world. But there is another reverse mortgage, and it's been around since 2009. It's just amazing. Early 2009, and that's the purchase reverse mortgage. That's how you can purchase a home with putting a certain amount down, and then a reverse mortgage lender comes to the table with the remaining funds so the seller can get paid in full, and the person buying the home has their dream retirement home for no principal and interest payments for as long as they live in that home. The last 20 minutes of our show is going to be dedicated to all my real estate friends across the country, all my real estate friends that are watching, and of course, to you, the consumer, the viewer, who may be thinking of moving somewhere. I'm here, of course, in Florida. That's home. I happen to be in the retirement capital of the country, here in Florida. The average age of a person in Florida, I'm not sure, I haven't looked lately. I think it's about 112. I think it's right around that. So I happen to live in reverse mortgage heaven. But so many people around this country are dreaming right now, well, not in the summer, but throughout the winters, as they're shoveling their snow and scraping their windows, of moving to Florida, of moving to the Carolinas, of moving to Arizona. They want to move somewhere where the weather is nice and they can live their remaining years. And yes, you can purchase your dream retirement home with a purchase reverse mortgage. But we're going to cover that the last 20 minutes of the show. In the first 40 minutes of the show, the first 20 minutes, we're going to go over really and truly fact versus fiction, myth versus reality. There is there is just so much misinformation and half-truths out there about this staggering product. Some of it very negative. A lot of reverse mortgage people won't admit this. Some of it very well deserved. But the truth of the matter is the reverse mortgage has been around for almost 50 years, 50. Many people think that it's been around for the first part of the 21st century. Many people think Ronald Reagan in the upper 80s brought it to light. Ronald Reagan did do a tremendous thing in the upper 80s for it, but no. Reverse mortgages started in the 1960s, and they weren't as good as they are now. And in fact, 5 or 6 times in the last 6 years to 8 years, FHA, HUD, because HUD controls FHA, and reverse mortgages are FHA insured loans, not all of them, but most of them. HUD has ripped apart the reverse mortgage several times in the last half a dozen years, put it back together, and made it an incredibly strong product. So in the first 20 minutes of the show, we are going to talk about myth versus reality. We're going to talk about how the clients, the buyers, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, how they're protected with today's reverse mortgage. We're going to take it a little further and say, how is the last borrower protected? Because people usually don't die at once. We hope they don't. God forbid a car accident or a plane accident. People don't die together. And when one borrower leaves, the other one is left. How is that borrower protected with today's reverse mortgage? And then finally, in the second segment, we're going to talk about how the estate and the heirs are protected in today's reverse mortgage. In the third segment, we're going to do some practical, everyday scenarios that I have personally been involved in that have helped families tremendously. And again, in the last segment, it's going to be right out there for people that are looking to buy their dream home here in Florida or anywhere throughout the country. It'll be directly for you consumers and for all my real estate friends throughout the country. So let's get started with reverse mortgages, fact versus fiction. Let's get rid of that misinformation so when the end of the show is over, or this particular episode of the show is over, you know the real truth about reverse mortgages. All right, we have 1 minute till our first break. That went quick. My introduction of myself as my own guest took longer than expected. All of my friends are going, yeah, that's a big mystery. The first big myth before our first break is who really owns the home. I can't tell you how many times people go, well, if it's a reverse mortgage, doesn't the bank own the home? That is the #1 big myth, and it is a myth. No, the buyer and the seller, the buyer, the husband, the wife, whoever it may be, the brother, the sister, the owners of the home are the only ones on the title. The bank has nothing to do with ownership of your home. If you're one of our thousands of viewers and you have a mortgage on your home right now, think about that. They may be holding a mortgage, your mortgage holder, your bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Regions Bank, whoever it may be. They may be holding your mortgage, but do they own your home with you? Of course not. And neither do they in a reverse mortgage. That's the #1 myth in our country about reverse mortgages, that somehow you are giving up some sort of equity or ownership when you decide to get a reverse mortgage. Nothing could be further from the truth. Now, there are equity sharing mortgages out there. They're not very popular. Some people say they're going to make a comeback. But with an equity sharing mortgage, they may very well own a piece of your house. But that is not the FHA insured mortgage. So we have about 10 seconds left before we go to our first break. And then we're going to cover some more myth versus reality. Stay tuned. You're going to learn things about reverse mortgages that are going to surprise you. Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Mike Banner, and in addition to being the host of the 62 Who Knew television show, I am also the president of Professional Mortgage Alliance, where our passion is helping seniors entering retirement purchase their dream retirement home without the obligation of a monthly principal and interest payment. Please call me at 727-224-3859 or visit my website at professionalmortgagealliance.com.
My name is Ann Rogers, and I'm a real estate agent and broker in Pinellas County and have been for over 24 years. Ann Rogers Relocation Resources provides a full array of services to help you or your loved one transition gracefully to a new residence or adult living community. Our first consultation is free and with no obligation. Please visit our website or call to talk to me directly.
Hi, my name is Lisa Marie Kennedy, your real estate expert here in the Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton area. I've spent years developing myself, studying the industry so I can serve you and communicate with you the best way possible in your real estate transaction. My phone number is 941-807-2054, or please visit my website at lisamariekennedy.com.
Welcome back. The second episode, the second segment of tonight's reverse mortgage fact versus fiction episode. So we only managed with the introduction and the setup to get to one myth in the first segment. So we're going to not rush through, but we're going to go at a pretty good pace this segment because I want you to be comfortable if you're a consumer thinking about a reverse mortgage, or if in fact you are a real estate agent or a financial planner or a long-term care provider and you're thinking about referring someone for a reverse mortgage. Number one myth, only the owners of the home are on title. They control their home. Number two myth, okay, Michael, you've convinced me. While they're alive, they own the home. It's after they die. That's when the reverse mortgage takes the reverse mortgage lender takes the home, right? Wrong. The lender has nothing to do with the disposition of your home or your client's home after the death of the final borrower. Now let's spend just a minute on that. Let's say you have a regular mortgage, what people sometimes in the reverse mortgage refer to as a forward mortgage, a fixed 30-year, a fixed 15-year. Let's talk about that for a second. And you pass away. And like most people, you leave the home to your children, whether you have a trust or a will or it was done with a life estate, but that's really 99 out of 100 times where the house goes, to your children. And you have a regular mortgage. What are your children's two choices with a regular mortgage? Let's go over that. Well, this is mom and dad's retirement home in Florida. I'm going to use Florida as an example because this is where I live. And even though we visited that home, the grandchildren, myself and all of us, There's no real emotional value to that home. It's not where we grew up. It's not where we had our Hanukkahs, our Christmases, our Thanksgiving. We don't want that home. So the lender says to the estate or the attorney or the children, well, if you don't want the home, there's a mortgage on it. Call your favorite real estate agent, get a sign in the yard, get it listed on MLS, sell the home, pay off the mortgage, and pocket the profit. That's your first option. Number two option is, well, wait a minute. That house is on the Gulf of Mexico in Florida. It's on the Atlantic Ocean. It's on the Intracoastal Waterway. It's on the 6th tee of a very famous golf course. I do want that home. Well, again, mom and dad have a mortgage on the house. The mortgage lender goes, okay, go get yourself a mortgage, because the people that guaranteed that mortgage are unfortunately gone. They're dead. Okay? So you have to get yourself a mortgage to pay off the mortgage that mom and dad had. Those are your two options when it's a regular mortgage. What are your options when it's a reverse mortgage? Are you ready? It's the same two options. This is a mortgage. This is a mortgage with some staggering options. One of them includes being able to defer paying back this mortgage till after the death of the final borrower. But your children will have two options when the last borrower is gone. Do you want the house? No, I don't. Sell it, sell the house, pay off the mortgage, and pocket the profit. Yes, I do want the house. Well, then you have to get a mortgage in your name so you can pay off mom and dad's mortgage, and then you own the home. It's the same two options with two incredible exceptions. Number one, let's say you do want the house and it's upside down. How many people listening to our program have had that happen to them 2008 through 2013 during the Great Recession? Mom and dad, with their interest accruing on a reverse mortgage, and we were in a recession, so the value of the home was coming down, and they owe $50,000, $100,000. I've seen cases up to $250,000 more on the home than it's worth. But you want that house. Who is going to give you a mortgage on a house that's $50,000 or $100,000 or more, what we refer to in the business upside down? In other words, you owe more on it than it's worth. I can tell you the answer. No one's going to give you that mortgage. No one. And if you're wealthy enough, do you really want to write the check? Do you, as much as you may love that house, do you want to pay $50,000 or $100,000 or more for that home? Of course you don't. But in a regular mortgage, those are your choices. In a reverse mortgage, listen closely to what I'm about to say. If the house is upside down, if the house is worth less than what you owe on it, the FHA lender that holds the mortgage, the servicer of the loan, will send out an FHA appraiser. They will appraise the home, and any member of the estate or heirs will be able to purchase that home for 95%, not of what they owe on it, not the equity, the negative equity that mom and dad built up because they lived to be close to 100. They will purchase the home for 95% of what the house is worth that day. Let's give a practical example. The house is worth $400,000. Mom and dad owe $500,000, and they're gone. We're in another recession. You are $100,000 upside down, but one of the children, one of the heirs wants that house. We send an appraiser out. The house appraises out for $400,000. 95% of $400,000 is $380,000. You can go get a mortgage for $380,000 and purchase that home, get the title free and clear other than the mortgage you're securing, even though mom and dad were $100,000 upside down. So when somebody tells you the children or the heirs or the estate are not protected with a reverse mortgage, that's a myth. But now let's go to the happy side. Let's go to your second option. I don't want that house. It's in Florida. It smells like Maalox and mothballs. Never really liked going there, which is the way a lot of people feel about grandma and grandpa's house in Florida. And the house is worth X, and you owe X on it. You call the real estate agent, you sell the home, the mortgage is satisfied, and the heirs and/or/slash estate get the profit. So before I move to the next myth, to the next fictional thing that people think about reverse mortgages, quick summary. If you're upside down on the house, mom and dad, if you're upside down in the house, let me start all over again. If you're upside down in the house and you want to purchase the house, you can purchase that house for 95% of the then present value. Number two, you're not upside down in the house, there's profit in it, and you sell it. The reverse mortgage lender gets paid back, and you pocket the profit. But let's go one more. One more. It is upside down, and we don't want it. We don't want to buy it. It's $100,000 upside down. Mom left us annuities. Dad had a life insurance policy. There's money in the money market. There's money in IRAs. Can the reverse mortgage lender come after the estate for the negative balance? Let me say in a forward loan, unequivocally, yes, they can. Because when mom and dad got that forward mortgage, they personally guaranteed it. There are no personal guarantees on a reverse mortgage. It is a non-recourse loan. Only the home stands for the mortgage. Now, this last 5 minutes, if you had these misgivings about reverse mortgages, I want you to think about that. The estate or the heirs are not responsible for a negative. They cannot attach the assets of the estate to pay back a negative. If you want to buy the house, you buy it at 95% of the value of the then present value. And if you want to sell the house, you sell it. And if there's profit, you get to keep the profit. So tell me, is it a myth or a reality that today's reverse mortgage protects the estate? It's reality. We protect it. That's today's reverse mortgage. But let's also talk about now something that's so important. It's very emotional. It actually is quite emotional. You know, people don't die at once, as I said in the introduction to the show. Well, we hope they never die together. And yes, it is true that men are still dying 5 to 7 years before women. Women live 5 to 7 years more in this country, longer in this country than men. Pretty much every survey, every medical poll taken still says women live 5 to 7 years longer than men. And usually in most relationships, the man is the older borrower to begin with. So the odds are pretty good that dad, grandpa, is going to die first. And I want you to think about this for a second. I happen to have a high level of energy and emotion when I speak about reverse mortgages because it's my passion. But I do so many personal face-to-face classes with groups as small as 20 up to 500. And I always try to make a concentrated effort when I get to this part, quite frankly, to tone it down. Because at 60 years old, myself, my cousin Bob, who I hope is working, who I hope is watching the show and not working this late, we're the older uncles of our family now. We're the uncles. We're the older generation. We've had to, in the last 10 to 15 years, endure our dads dying, our favorite uncles, his dad, my favorite uncle, my dad, his favorite uncle. We've had to endure that. And in most cases, mom was still around. In fact, Bob's mom, Aunt Helen, God bless her, was just 88 years old. Hi, Aunt Helen, if you're watching. She is the matriarch of the family. This is a touching thing, and I want you to take it as it is. When dad dies in that generation, when grandpa dies, when pop dies, it is very possible in that generation that this is a 45, 50, maybe even 55, 60-year marriage. It's just an incredible generation. And not only is mom or grandma dealing with the loss of that incredible long-term relationship, keep in mind that when mom loses dad, statistics say she is also losing 60%, 60, of the household income. because in that generation, Dad made a lot more money than Mom. Maybe not in today's generation, but in that generation, and at least for the next 10, 15 years as people start to leave us, that generation, Dad made more money than Mom. His Social Security is 3 times as much. He was the one with the pension. If there was a pension, he took care of little things around the house. So not only is Mom or Grandma losing her lifetime partner, but she's also losing 60% of her income that Dad is no longer collecting. For all the financial planners that are watching out there, they're going, don't forget her Social Security will be raised to match Dad's. That's true, but it's Dad that usually has the pension and the superior income. So in the midst of going through the emotion, the loss of losing this lifetime partner, at every funeral that I've ever been to, whether it be my family or close friends, there's that discussion. And the discussion is usually right at the funeral. It's not at home a month later. It's not in the attorney's office. Someone at that funeral is turning around and saying, how is Mom going to stay in this house? She can't possibly afford it without Dad's income. Now, am I suggesting that if they had a reverse mortgage, this would help Mom get over the grief of losing her lifetime spouse? No, I am not suggesting that at all. But I am not suggesting, I am strongly stating that if Mom purchased her house with a reverse mortgage or refinanced her reverse mortgage, Mom and Dad, in the recent past, Mom wouldn't have a principal and interest payment. She'd have to pay her taxes and her insurance, her homeowners association, if applicable, and her electric and water bill. Where is she going to go to live less expensively than that? So again, just for a few seconds, think about that. In the midst of losing her loved one, we don't need to have Mom to make the decision, I also need to leave this house. I love this house. This is where my children came, whether they were brought up there or visiting because it's their retirement home. This is where my grandchildren came and swam and we took them on the boat or whatever it may be. Because she has a reverse mortgage, she has no monthly principal and interest payment. So in the 30 seconds remaining, we went over the 3 biggest myths. And in the next segment, I'm going to give you some practical examples. Yes, only you are on the title of the home. Yes, your children and estate are 100% protected with their assets. And number 3, when we do lose Dad, Mom doesn't have to say, can I afford to stay in this home? Mom gets to make the choice, do I want to stay in this home? Because with no debt service, she damn well can afford it. So that is the end of our second segment. We're going to come back in the third segment and going to do some practical examples of reverse mortgages that I've been involved in to show you how they can touch people's lives. And then in the last section, we're going to talk about how you buy a home with a purchase reverse mortgage. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hi, my name is Mike Banner, and in addition to being the host of the 62 Who Knew television show, I am also the president of Professional Mortgage Alliance, where our passion is helping seniors entering retirement purchase their dream retirement home without the obligation of a monthly principal and interest payment. Please call me at 727-224-3859 or visit my website at professionalmortgagealliance.com.
My name is Ann Rogers, and I'm a real estate agent and broker in Pinellas County and have been for over 24 years. Ann Rogers Relocation Resources provides a full array of services to help you or your loved one transition gracefully to a new residence or adult living community. Our first consultation is free and with no obligation. Please visit our website or call to talk to me directly.
Hi, my name is Lisa Marie Kennedy, your real estate expert here in the Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton area. I spent years developing myself, studying the industry so I can serve you and communicate with you the best way possible in your real estate transaction. My phone number is 941-807-2054, or please visit my website at lisamariekennedy.com.
I can't believe how quick the segments are going. It's amazing what happens when you have a national expert. It just flows. I'm one of my favorite guests, in case you haven't noticed. John's laughing in my ear, but it's the truth. I've been addicted, or at least obsessed, or very passionate about reverse mortgages for more than the last decade, as you can tell. And I was going to leave one thing out because I get emotional about it, but I've decided to add it in before I give you some practical examples of what a traditional reverse mortgage, remember, we're saving the purchase for the last segment, what a traditional reverse mortgage can do. I'm going to bring up one topic that that I get a little emotional about, and a lot of people disagree with this, and I'm just going to say it. There is a rumor, myth, whatever out there, that heirs, children, are against their parents doing reverse mortgage, because there is no doubt if mom and dad get a reverse mortgage, the myth out there is that you're taking away the children's inheritance. That is a myth, by the way. But reality, fact, are the children getting less inheritance if mom and dad decide to get a reverse mortgage rather than a regular mortgage? And the answer is unequivocally yes. In a regular mortgage, let's say 30-year mortgage, every time you make a payment, the balance goes down. In a reverse mortgage, every year mom and dad live, the balance goes up because we're deferring the interest till after death. So the children are getting less inheritance. And that's caused a lot of waves in my industry. I'm probably on the lesser side of this because this is my attitude towards that. If in fact you are considering getting a reverse mortgage, or if in fact your mother and father are considering getting a reverse mortgage, and if you are the type of person, I'm going to be blunt about this, that puts the size of your inheritance in front of your mom and dad's quality of life, then I don't really want to know you. In fact, even if you're watching the television show right now, shut it off. The reverse mortgage is not about how much inheritance we're leaving for our children. Now, I have nothing but respect for the greatest generation and their preceding generations and following generations, and if that's their goal, to leave their children a house free and clear, then I respect that. But when children call my company, or children make a comment on Facebook or LinkedIn, I got a lot less than I expected because mom and dad took that damn reverse mortgage 20 years ago. Here's my message to you. Shame on you. Get a job. Okay? This is about quality of life for mom and dad. I don't care if they're living on a small Social Security or they have $1 million in the bank. Having no debt service on your primary residence in the retirement segment of your life, no matter how much you have in the bank, makes that quality of life that much higher. So let's take an eye off for your inheritance. And I know there's not a lot of you out there, but there's some, because I've spoken to them. This is about quality of life from mom and dad. Okay, next, I'm going to give you some practical examples of what we've done with traditional reverse mortgages. The number one popular reason to get a reverse mortgage today is not what you would think. It's not from people that have free and clear houses and they're asking for monthly checks to enhance their income. We would hope that would be the most popular reverse mortgage, but because of the Great Recession in 2008 through 2013, excuse me, too many people lost money in their investments, their portfolios. Too many people that were planning on paying off their mortgage didn't get to do that. People that had a free and clear home quite possibly borrowed on that home during the Great Recession of 2008 to 2013. So by far, the number one reason today people get a reverse mortgage is to eliminate their present mortgage payment. In many cases, they have a HELOC, HELOC, a home equity line of credit, and they have a first mortgage. The combined payments are a fairly substantial number. And when we combine those balances and pay them both off, and we get rid of that payment, many, many times because of the recession, there's not enough equity left to give mom and dad any additional money. But let's think about that for a second. Let's just say mom and dad have a $200,000 mortgage on a $400,000 or $500,000 house. They have a lot of equity. Mom and dad are not poor, but mom and dad are getting less of a return on their annuities and their money market and their stocks and bonds than they were years ago. Today, we still have record low rates of returns. So that $1,200 mortgage payment on their $200,000 house, that's a chunk of their monthly retirement. Let's say mom and dad took an equity line and the payment's a couple of $100s a month on that. So now you have the $1,200 house payment, the $200 equity line. They come to a company like mine, Professional Mortgage Alliance. We approve a reverse mortgage for them. We pay off their first mortgage. We pay off their line of credit, which equals maybe $225,000, $250,000. But there's not enough equity left to give them any extra money. Oh my, why should I do it then? Why should you do it? Because we eliminated the $1,200 payment on your first mortgage and the $200 payment on your home equity line of credit, which in effect is a second mortgage. It still amazes me how many people don't realize your line of credit is your second mortgage on your home. We've eliminated $1,400 a month in debt service. Tell me, what is the difference between that and giving them $1,400 a month? There is no difference. Now, if mom and dad are retired on $3,000 a month or $5,000 a month, well, they're retired on $100,000 a year, $8,000 a month. You just took $1,400. Let's just say they're retired on $5,000 a month. You increased their spendable cash, their reserves, by almost 30% by eliminating those two mortgage payments. Or if they didn't have a line of credit, only one payment. A staggering difference in their lifestyle. It's the difference for most people. I'm not going to say to eat or get pharmaceuticals, although quite frankly, there is a needs-based segment of the reverse mortgage world that absolutely use reverse mortgages for that. As long as I'm doing this, decades, I still get the chills when I say that. Yes, we do. A percentage of our business, a large percentage of business, that are using the reverse mortgage proceeds to go to CVS to get their pharmaceuticals, to pay their taxes, to be able to take a vacation every now and then. But the great majority of our business is not that lower income needs-based. It is that mid-income. It's mass America that is retiring and living on $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, even $8,000 a month. And again, think about eliminating that $1,000, that $1,200, that $1,500 payment from their lives, from your life. It makes life a lot different. That's the difference between time with your children, time with your grandchildren, the cruise, the ability to afford long-term care insurance that we've spoken about twice on the show, the ability to have final expense insurance so your children are not burdened with the cost of your funeral when you're gone. The list it just goes on, but I want to stick with reverse mortgages. Let's also talk about auto loans. Many people in their 60s still have that car loan. And that car loan today in this country usually ranges between $400 and $450 a month. So let's take that one step further. We not only eliminated their $1,200 mortgage payment, we not only eliminated their $200 payment on their line of credit, but we had the equity to pay off their car. Let's add that $450 in. And now we've saved them almost $1,900 a month. For all our thousands of viewers out there, and again, every time I say that, I have to smile to myself. Thank you so much for being one of our thousands of viewers as this show continues to grow. I don't care how old you are. Take away $1,900 a month of your debt service. Take away your present rent. Take away your present mortgage payment. Take away your car payment. Take away some of your credit card payments that maybe we could pay off if you're 62 and above with a reverse mortgage. how much of a difference will that make on the quality of your life? And remember what we spoke about the first two segments. Your estate is protected, your children are protected, it is a non-recourse loan, your assets, life insurance, annuities, money markets, anything you leave your children or grandchildren are totally protected with today's reverse mortgage. If you qualify, and you do have to qualify for a reverse mortgage, it's the easiest loan in the world to qualify for, but yes, there are qualifications. Why wouldn't you want to live in the last segment of your life, which is what this show is all about? If you're in your mid-60s, what is the last segment of your life? 5 years? 10 years? No. It's 20 years. It's 25 years. It's amazing. Live that with a little cushion in the bank. Live that with no debt service. So again, number one reason to get a reverse mortgage in today's country, in today's environment, is to eliminate present debt. We have about 45 seconds left with this segment. I want to talk about a couple of more quick things. Another thing that we're seeing more and more, and it's just amazing, is grandma and grandpa taking a reverse mortgage to give to their children or their grandchildren their inheritance. I did a case just not too long ago where a person took $200,000 out of their home. I said, you have $1 million in the bank. Why are you borrowing $200,000? Michael, we have 4 grandchildren. They each have about $50,000 in student loans. We're leaving them each $50,000 when we die, but we don't plan on dying that soon, and they need it now. So we're going to take the reverse mortgage. There is no payment during our lifetime, and we're going to give them each $50,000 now, and we're going to watch them enjoy it. Is that a staggering reason to get a reverse mortgage, to give your children or grandchildren their inheritance in advance? So many more things we can talk about, but it's time to go to break. We'll be right back. Thank you. Hi, my name is Mike Banner, and in addition to being the host of the 62 Who Knew television show, I am also the president of Professional Mortgage Alliance, where our passion is helping seniors entering retirement purchase their dream retirement home without the obligation of a monthly principal and interest payment. Please call me at 727-224-3859 or visit my website at professionalmortgagealliance.com.
My name is Ann Rogers, and I'm a real estate agent and broker in Pinellas County and have been for over 24 years. Ann Rogers Relocation Resources provides a full array of services to help you or your loved one transition gracefully to a new residence or adult living community. Our first consultation is free and with no obligation. Please visit our website or call to talk to me directly.
Hi, my name is Lisa Marie Kennedy, your real estate expert here in the Sarasota, Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton area. I've spent years developing myself, studying the industry so I can serve you and communicate with you the best way possible in your real estate transaction. My phone number is 941-807-2054, or please visit my website at lisamariekennedy.com.
Welcome back for our last segment. It's flying by. Before we go to the purchase reverse mortgage, for all of you out there thinking of moving to Florida or moving anywhere in the country for your retirement home, I want to say one more thing that I forgot to say. This is an hour show. We only have about 48 minutes without commercials. When I teach these classes face-to-face throughout the country, they're anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. So my apologies if we're not covering everything. I do want to tell you that we now have a jumbo reverse mortgage, with values up to $5 million. So again, I'm going to mention it at the end of the show. I'm usually not that direct about contacting us. 62 Who Knew is for education, but go to the 62 Who Knew website at www.62whoknew. Contact if you are interested in a reverse mortgage anywhere in the country, and we will get you taken care of. Email me directly at mbanner@62whoknew.com, and we'll make sure you or your client or your mom or your dad or your grandmother and grandfather are very well taken care of. And now we're going to talk about the purchase reverse mortgage. I think if you are looking to buy a house, this is the most incredible thing. If you are a consumer looking directly to purchase, and of course we have some great realtors as part of the 62 Who Knew family that can help you, or if you are a real estate agent, John, if you would cue up, I have a little whiteboard animation. It's 2 minutes. This is the true strength of the reverse mortgage, and then we're going to talk about it after the whiteboard animation. Go ahead and roll that, John, if you could, please.
This is how the purchase reverse mortgage is supposed to work. An agent called me with this scenario. She has a cash buyer whose budget is $200,000. In the process of showing her homes, the client absolutely falls in love with a home that is $258,000. The client is quite capable of withdrawing an additional $58,000 from her savings, but has been instructed by her financial planner to not touch her cash reserves. She is also quite capable of being approved for a small mortgage, but she absolutely does not want a monthly mortgage payment during her retirement years. Enter the purchase reverse mortgage. The client purchases her dream retirement home for $258,000. She came to closing with $166,647. Just what did we accomplish here? The client purchased a dream retirement home, which, by the way, means so many more referrals to this agent. Together, we achieved the client's goals of no monthly principal and interest payments. The client was able to retain $33,353 in liquidity. And let's not forget this one. Your commission was based on a $258,000 sale, not $200,000. Sorry, your commission increased by more than 25%. This is the true strength of the purchase reverse mortgage, giving your senior clients the ability to purchase the home of their dreams while still achieving their goal of no monthly principal and interest payments.
All right, so let's quickly summarize what you just saw. This was a client that was referred to me by a real estate agent that took one of my classes probably a couple of years ago. Said, Michael, this single woman moving to Florida has $200,000 to spend. It wasn't her last $200,000. She had other money, but that's the money she made on her last house. And let's segue just for a minute away from the example and talk about that. How does a person arrive when they're retiring on how much they want to spend on their dream retirement home? Do they fly down and analyze the area? Oh, I want to live on the golf course. I want to live on the ocean. I want to live on the Gulf. No, they usually don't. What their financial planner or their trusted advisor or their daughter or their son or themselves, what they usually say is, this is how much I made on the house that I just sold, on my previous house. And that's what I want to spend, or that's what I need to spend on my next home, on my retirement home. And again, with the losses taken in portfolios and stocks and bonds and savings and real estate from 2008 to 2013, housing values are just coming back now to where they were. So sometimes that number is not what they planned on it being. And when they come to a place like Florida or Arizona or the Carolinas, wherever they may be retiring, and they go, look, like this woman, I have $200,000 to spend. Well, in my area of Florida, the Tampa Bay area, $200,000 wasn't getting her anywhere close to the quality of home she wanted to retire with. But she was above the age of 62, and thank God that real estate agent did take my class. So she fell in love with a $258,000 house. And as the illustration said, she was quite capable of taking $58,000 out of her assets, but her financial planner said, no, don't touch your cash reserves. Let them be. You're going to live to be 90. We need all of them. She was capable with her 800 credit score of a small mortgage of $58,000. But again, her financial planner and her own family's wishes were that she have no monthly principal and interest payment during retirement. So enter the reverse mortgage. At a $258,000 purchase price in her mid-60s, we were able to lend her approximately $100,000 of that $268,000. She came to closing with approximately $160,000. I don't have the exact figures in front of me. And she was able to retain close to $36,000 in liquidity. Remember, when she met that real estate agent, she was going to buy a $200,000 house and write a check for $200,000. Instead, she bought her dream retirement home for $258,000. Not the one she thought she could afford, but the one she truly wanted. She didn't spend the entire $200,000. She spent in the mid-160s. We put up the rest. She went back to her financial planner and went, I have an extra $36,000. Want to put it back in my portfolio, please? Want to put it back in my cash reserves? And she's living in her dream retirement home for the rest of her life with no principal and interest payment. We achieved her goal of no principal and interest payment. She has an extra $36,000 in liquidity. And to all my real estate friends out there, the real estate agent's commission was risen by 25%. The mistake that our industry has made in the reverse mortgage world is selling the HECM for purchase or the purchase reverse mortgage to the millions of real estate agents out there, a couple of million, and saying you should turn all your cash deals into reverse mortgages. No, you shouldn't. When you get a cash deal, you close quickly, you close without an appraisal usually, and you're not going to do that. What the purchase reverse mortgage truly is a legal, ethical, and moral platform for you to upsell your client. And usually the words upsell and ethical and moral don't go with each other, I know. But in this case, there's no debt service. This is a legal, perfectly legal, ethical and moral, where you can sleep at night, put your head on your pillow and sleep at night by upselling them to their dream retirement home. And they still have no payments. And in most cases, they have extra liquidity. With a little less than a minute left, again, use this example for somebody who's coming to see you that wants to buy a $300,000 house and is just looking at it going, yeah, it's nice. Needs a new roof in the next few years. Hasn't been updated in a while, but yeah, it's not exactly what I planned in retiring for the rest of my life. Show that person a $400,000 house and then call a purchase reverse mortgage expert. We have about 20 seconds left. Again, I'm usually not this direct, but this is my passion. This is what I do throughout the country. Contact me at mbanner@62whoknew.com. Go to the website and contact me if you're a real estate agent, a financial planner, or a consumer. Next week, we are going to have a staggering show about stem cell research. 3 seconds left. Thank you so much.